Goomy! What is up, guys? Steven here, and today I'm going to be playing some more VGC. So, this is a team I've been using recently that I really enjoy. I kind of wanted to toy around with the idea of Mimikyu Snorlax in the current format. I think Trick Room in general is just very strong. You just get to add a lot of bulk to your mons, and Trick Room is just pretty cool. So I guess I'll just go into the team at kind of a high level. Indeedee, I think, is just kind of the best redirection support in the format. Clefairy's probably up there as well, but for Trick Room type teams, Indeedee is great just because it prevents fake out as well, which doesn't really matter when you're using Mimikyu as like your Trick Room setter. But Indeedee has like some offensive presence, and it is kind of nice to be able to stop prankster shenanigans from happening as well. I go for min speed Indeedee just because I'd rather have Psychic Terrain up than anything else. And that obviously helps too when Trick Room actually is up. So next I have Weakness Policy Metagross. Really kind of the reason for this is just that it really works well with Mimikyu. So there's different options. I mean, against like more offensive teams, Metagross is still going to be slower under Trick Room than pretty much everything that you'll run into, which is really nice. You can side Shadow Sneak to activate Policy. And I've got Rock Slide on this one, really just to help support Torkoal. So anytime that Metagross and Torkoal are next to each other in Trick Room, that's a really great situation to be in, because not much really wants to take the combination of an Eruption and then these coverage options that I've got with Metagross. So then here is the Snorlax, which is really fun. I've got Choice Band, just because really the intention is just to do as much damage as possible. Self-destruct obviously being really kind of the selling point of Mimikyu Snorlax to me, and that you can self-destruct, get up Trick Room, and then bring in something like a Torkoal, with every turn of Trick Room available. Double Edge is there, it's just like a more consistent option. I'm G-Max, even though I'm not holding a berry, just because I'd rather not lower opponent's speeds, because that would not necessarily set us up for success in Trick Room. And then I've got Rock Slide, Fire Punch. You're never really Dynamaxing this anyway, but that's just kind of niche for that scenario. I'm Specs Torkoal, which I'm really kind of enjoying more and more these days. I really liked it once I saw that like Specs Eruption just actually kills Dynamax Celesteela, which is something that likes to lead against Trick Room teams because it can start to get defense raises and it really threatens most of the setters other than P2. So that's a really good mon. Eruption just does way more damage than it has any right to, and you're protected from like Prankster Eerie impulses and stuff because normally you'll have terrain available to you. And then here is the Mimikyu, which is great. Will-O-Wisp is just a good option in general. And the speed tier the Mimikyu is in is kind of nice because you can outspeed stuff really in and out of Trick Room in ways that are pretty nice. We've got Taunt, which really just kind of helps just shut obnoxious things down in general. Can, like, for instance, like limit Grimmsnarl to a single screen or things like that. And it also helps to like prevent protects from happening, which, protect stalling is one of the things that can really stop Trick Room. Then we have Shadow Sneak for Metagross, and there is a little bit of like non-synergy with Terrain and Sneak being the only attack, because there are times where it's like, oh my gosh, like there's an Urshifu sitting at 1 and I need to Will-O-Wisp it to try to kill it. So that's kind of annoying. And then of course Trick Room. And then I've got like this really offensive Regieleki, which I think fits pretty well on this team. It's enough speed to outspeed +1. It's enough speed to outspeed +1 Togekiss, and then it outspeeds like the Mons that like to hit 112 at +2. And then I'm just like max bulk from there. I don't know if this is the most efficient spread. I didn't put these EVs into the calculator I have for bulk, so that's just max HP from there, and then modest for more damage. Life Orb. This thing is really, really strong, and just kind of does well in general. So let's get some games. I really like this team in general. I feel like I do better when I'm building teams that seem to have more of like a concrete game plan. Like for instance with this team, it's like, alright, in general I'm gonna want to lead like either Mimilax or Indeedee plus something, and kind of go from there. Like in this case, I really, really enjoy the idea of Regieleki and Indeedee, because Regieleki puts in a lot of work, and it pressures basically everything that could happen turn 1 here. And then I think my intention probably is going to be to Dynamax Regieleki, which means in the back I probably want probably Snorlax just for like the sun, and then Metagross. And we'll kind of go from there. This is not like a typical mode I'd bring with this team, but their structure makes it pretty difficult to go with Trick Room just because they have the Regirock and the opposing Torkoal, which is kind of annoying. I'd rather not rely on a bunch of speed ties. And then, like lead Zard would be a huge problem as well. So their structure is pretty interesting. I think it might be a little difficult for me to beat down P2. This is kind of great, honestly, because I think I'm just going to Expanding Force the Venu and probably just Volt Switch Grim, as they likely Light Screen, Dynamax, and attack into something. I don't foresee Torkoal coming in because that would be bad for Indeedee. So yeah, this is actually a pretty decent scenario for us, I think. And they do just Vine Lash Indeedee, so we get good damage there. We get hit by the vines, and I think that's part of why I'm just gonna like attack and self-destruct. They could reflect here. I'm wondering if I should just Helping Hand self-destruct. I'm gonna go for that because I think that'll pick up a double KO, and then we'll have Dynamax advantage They'll obviously have the vines, but I'm not too worried. And of course Snorlax eats all that because it's just a really good mon. Yeah, and having Dynamax advantage here, super great. I don't know, this is kind of interesting. In some ways I want to double protect because they don't have Dynamax left, and that would bait a potential protect from Zard. So that's what I'm gonna do. As Zard just heat waves. If it's Scarf Zard, then I'm not really sure what I should have done anyway. But it's not, so we just annihilate that, and then let's see what Rock Slide does. It flinches, so I guess it depends on if Burning Jealousy was gonna kill us there, but I doubt it, just because we're pretty bulky and it looked like defensive Torkoal based on the damage and the fact that it went for Jealousy there. Alright, so this is definitely not a Regieleki game. I don't think it's a Regieleki game because they've got Lando, and if I'm bringing a Lecky, I want to max it, and I really don't want to max it in a game where I think it's almost compulsory for them to bring this. And I'm actually just going to go with Mimilax Torkoal, and kind of the question is like, what's the last that I bring? And I kind of like Indeedee here just for like helping hand support if it comes to that. Okay, so I'm actually pretty okay with this lead. I think I'm just gonna go for Boom Trick Room, as weird as that is. Because if I don't flinch, then we're in a great place, because we'll hit that Torkoal down a pretty decent chunk. And obviously Eruption doesn't do much, and we actually do get that off, so that's great. I'm just gonna fire off an Eruption of my own, and actually I'm just gonna go Indeedee for the helping hand support we talked about. So this could be a really good turn. Yeah, so we actually just get a double KO there. They haven't Dynamaxed, which is obviously really smart. I guess here is where I potentially should have, whoa. I was gonna say where I potentially should have kept, whoa, okay. Should have kept that thing alive, just because like obviously I can't speak well. I couldn't have like prevented like Protect, which I think is fairly uncommon on Venu. I couldn't have prevented like Protect into whatever. So I think here the best play, I am faster. Yeah, I gotta just Mindstorm because of the speed drop, so like he would be faster after Trick Room. Yeah, and we did, there's Hail up, and fortunately we hit Willow, so he was taunted, so he couldn't recover as well, so that felt like a pretty good win chance. Probably better than if I had max guarded. Yep, this guy says good luck, have fun. We'll tell him good luck, have fun. See, so this guy's using double horse, which is really annoying. I think this is certainly an Indeedee Mimikyu game. If we can get Torkoal in Trick Room, then we're in a great situation, and we're probably just gonna bring Regieleki last. So this seems like it could be pretty fun. I worry a little bit about, like, I don't know, lead or Shifu is just annoying for, because it's Sash, like I literally, or assuming it's Sash, like I can't actually do damage to it with either of these mons, which makes it really, really dumb. So obviously I follow me, and I think I'm just gonna Trick Room, and we'll go from there. Okay, so I think this is actually okay because I can follow me and Will-O-Wisp. And maybe I should have taunted. I guess we'll find out if we completely fucked up here. We may have. Yeah, I need Quakes, which I think makes sense. I'm not sure how we actually win now, especially because it's like, especially because he didn't even follow me on that turn, so he's probably Lum, Glastrier, and that did nothing. I guess we'll find out. Moonblast does a decent chunk, and it is Lum, so that's, you know, that's not too surprising given what happened there. So I've got a max guard, as you know, they read into that, and they are still taunted, so I guess theoretically we could potentially kill, but yeah, they've got Clef plus just way too much Spadef, and that was kind of like, that's part of the problem with the Indeedee and Mimikyu lead, is that it's just so passive that it can be a little difficult sometimes. Alright, so this guy has a pretty fast team. I feel like this is Water Shifu on his team, which isn't like the worst thing in the world for us. I'm probably just gonna do Indeedee Mimikyu, Torkoal, and I'll bring Regieleki again. I'm not really bringing Metagross a lot, but I haven't really, I don't know, I haven't had any games where it felt correct. I'm just gonna follow me and Trick Room, I guess. The problem is that he'll probably, oh wow, he's Snarl. Very interesting. And definitely not good for us. I can just taunt the Celesteela, which is great there. And then it was Iron Head on the Celly, which is pretty interesting. I think I'm just gonna Helping Hand Eruption, because it just does so much damage to literally everything. It just killed that thing, which is actually nutty. So we can just Eruption Expanding Force here, which obviously is pretty good. It's gonna eviscerate this thing. And we have Regieleki in the back, and we still have our Dynamax, so I feel like we're in an okay position. He didn't actually, is that AV maybe? I guess not, it just, because it just died. And I'm just gonna go hard Regieleki and Eruption. I think this probably wins the game. Yep. So that's great. That was pretty solid. Eleki in the back is nice just because, like, with this team, you're not often going to be able to get a Tricker multiple times. This guy is Scentiscorch, which is not great for us. And it makes me want to go like a Metagross path. Because Metagross actually does pretty well here. And I wonder... I don't know. It's kind of weird. Like, I like Snorlax as a lead here. I'm gonna go Snorlax, Mimikyu, Metagross, and Deity. Alright, as they actually did just lead Scentiscorch, which is pretty wild. So I can just self-destruct. And I highly doubt that he goes Feeny here. And if he does, I think that's okay, because I'd get a lot of damage on the Glastriate anyway, and then just Shadow Sneak, and then just like Shadow Sneak whatever next turn. Hopefully we live with Mimikyu here, and we do, which is great. So that means this turn we get a Shadow Sneak off no matter what. And I think we are officially cooking with gas. The Porygon is kind of annoying, but he doesn't have much of anything that really wants to deal with this. And he actually max guards, which is fine because we attacked him. The Porygon, he's barely gonna live. I really like the idea of just attacking that thing again, and I'll just taunt that slot as well. Okay, so it's Shadow Ball, which does a decent amount. I think it was probably fair for me to think that something else was going to happen there. I'm just going to protect and Steel Spike the Rillaboom, because then next turn I just follow me Iron Head. So that was really solid. This team is just like super fun. It has a lot of different modes, which I kind of like. Like, that was kind of a completely different game plan than what we've done to this point so far. Alright, now this is probably my favorite type of matchup, because I get to lead in DD Regieleki, which is really, really strong. It doesn't look like they have much for that. I think their end game is probably an attempt to get up TR. So we're gonna bring Torkoal in the back in case that happens. And we'll bring Mimikyu, because I can like taunt obnoxious stuff if it comes down to it. So this is dumb. I want to just Volt Switch the Glastrier and Expanding Force with the intent of, the intention is to go into Mimikyu here to ultimately attempt to Will-O-Wisp the Glastrier, because this prevents him from getting a kill this turn. Yeah, and like obviously Quake is really good. Potentially we just taunt Among Us and Expanding Force, and I think that's really, really fine. This puts a lot of pressure on, as he's honestly probably gonna Spore. Yep. And the great news is that Expanding Force, like the problem is, I feel like this double up kills. The problem is that I can't change terrain without that being like a huge negative. This is not gonna kill, and we're about to lose. Okay, well, that's not good, because I think we really just like straight up won if wow, that is fast Incineroar. The fact that Indeedee lived there is quite good for us. And the fact that it's Moltres is kind of interesting. Alright, I'm just gonna try to kill the Moltres. And if we do, I think we win. Oh my god, this is whack. I'm forced to just Quake Incin, because I feel like his play... Ooh. Alright, well, hopefully we live and don't flinch. Good night. Okay, so maybe we should have just attacked Moltres on that next to last turn, but we got away with it. Wasn't really thinking too hard about that end game, because I don't know, I didn't think Torkoal could do it, but Indeedee is just really, really nice. That is the disadvantage of running like Rising Voltage, over, say, Thunderbolt in that slot, is you don't have like a ton of immediate damage with Alecki. Unless you do thing. So like in this game, this is so bad because realistically, Marowak is just like such a good answer against our team in general. But I kind of like trying to go down... I mean, going down the Torkoal path is just kind of... It seems a little counterintuitive because they probably bring... I don't know if they bring Feeny here. I'm gonna bring Metagross in the back with Torkoal. Okay, so they went for the good play. This is kind of this is not a great situation because they can yeah, they could beat down Thing if they wanted to, but they actually end up going for this, which is what it is. I'm gonna just hard switch into Torkoal here and Rock Slide because I think they definitely Spore that slot always, and that obviously does like a crap ton of damage, but it lets us do we bring back in Mimikyu maybe? and Burning Jealousy, because like what I don't want to happen. Okay, and that does a crap ton, so that's really solid. So I think this is kind of okay. I obviously worry about, okay, well that's incredible. I think we just Steel Spike the Celesteela here, which is kind of insane. But if it kills, I think it wins us the game. As his Celesteela is actually slower, so that's really, really bad. And it does nothing because Shocker, it's slower. So I wonder if it's Life Orb Chomp. I mean, I'm certainly just gonna Will-O-Wisp and Steel Spike the Celesteela. It's kind of the, like, that's the path I have available. The problem from his perspective is that he can't Earthquake here. And he protected last turn. I think I always Rock Slide. And then I just try to kill the Garchomp. Ooh. Ally Switch is not what I expected. And I think it just cost us. I'm going to self-destruct. Ooh. Or do I still Rock Slide? I'm gonna Rock Slide and protect, I guess. I think Snorlax... No, does not live that. Yeah, I just... That Ally Switch turn was obviously not great. Well, I don't know. I feel decent about how I played that. Like, Marowak is a really, really tough matchup for this team. Cool. So they have obnoxious mons. I could see them leading, like, I think this is a Regieleki game, but the question is who I bring in the back, and I want it to be Lax, because Lax is just really good, and probably Mimikyu. Okay, so this is obviously amazing. I really wonder if we just Oko Metagross if it Dynamaxes. We're gonna go for it. Well, I think we definitely Oko this. Even if it's AV. And it does protect. Okay, and now we have Terrain up. And it's Grim? So I kind of want to just go Mimikyu to, so I can threaten Will-O-Wisp onto the Metagross. And I'm just gonna continue to pressure down the Metagross, because it's the only thing that really does damage here. And we actually did hit the Willow, which is great. I'm not too worried at this point. I obviously just can't afford to do anything like stupid, but and we might have been a little dumb there, just because now like really our only offense at all is Snorlax. But I think we'll be okay. I'm just gonna Fire Punch Metagross and actually protect. Because he's going for Rock Slide, Spirit Break. He did attack the Lax, and he did get the flinch, so that's pretty annoying. As now I'm probably just gonna switch that thing out. But fortunately, we really should have just like saved Alecki. The problem was, I feel like on those types of teams, like, are you not normally Sucker Punch Grimmsnarl too? Okay, so this is certainly this is certainly a game where we want to try to let Torkoal shine. Regieleki definitely does not come here. It just loses to basically everything. I want, like, is it I think it's actually Snorlax Mimikyu, because I'm trying to think about things that he has that would like kill thing, and I don't see a lot. And we're gonna bring Metagross in the back because it does really well into like Feeny and Rotom. Okay, this is awesome. I still am actually just going to self-destruct and Trick Room. Unless he's double taunt. Okay, so that obviously was pretty good, and we can Shadow Sneak the Spectrier, because that just helps. Yeah, this just helps Torkoal out a ton, and like he probably. Do we just Willow the Lando? It could be Loam, but if it is Loam, then he probably still just attacks into the Torkoal. And then we're in fine position there from the perspective of then we just go Metagross and we side Shadow Sneak. So this is yeah, this is absolutely phenomenal. I think we just Steel Spike that and side Shadow Sneak. He does Max Guard, which I think is the correct play. Yeah, and he had to go for the double there, so I totally agree with what our opponent did. Fortunately, they didn't get the double, and they were at 17-26, so that was a really solid opponent. I think we're actually going to end it there. I think I was able to show what this team does. It's super duper fun, and I think it's really, really solid. So, hope you all enjoyed. We'll see you next time. I'm probably going to try to upload, not a ton, but fairly regularly. Just some VGC laddering, because I'm still laddering a lot, but I just haven't clicked record. So, hope you guys enjoyed this, and we'll see you next time. Peace.